I ran a few more
Waiting.
tears.
I'm ready.
Huh?
You ready?
Thank you guys for all you did.
Yep.
So, earlier today, we heard, Samoa Joe did quit TNA. So, what are your thoughts on that?
In my opinion, it's kind of a surprise that he left, but I found out also earlier that his contract was up, and I was thinking that hopefully they was gonna, work something out, resign him, keep him around for a while, but fortunately, I guess it didn't happen for him, and I guess they couldn't afford the bill, so to speak.
I
But
mean,
oh, go ahead.
I thought that TNA treated him like shit for like the last couple of years. I think with all not giving him a world title and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Because I was thinking he was probably be treated, still should be treated like upper card or whatever. But I guess when they gave him like the X Division title last year, I thought it would be something that they was going to try to do more with him. But I guess they just had other plans or other options.
I mean, wasn't he a heel like in TNA last year with like MVP? Like I haven't watched TNA in a while, so I don't really know what's going on. But that's what I heard anyway. Like he was a heel with some like MVP and stuff.
Yeah, he did join the Beatdown Clan with MVP. Who else is with them? Kenny King, Eric Young, and and Low Key. That's what it is, Low Key.
Yeah. I mean, Samoa Joe, I don't know if he'll get signed by the WWE, but like, I think he'll probably go to Ring of Honor because like WWE had the chance to like have Joe go to WWE, but they didn't sign him and stuff. So I think he'll probably just work on the Indies now.
Yeah, because I think like because of his age, and I guess how he is, I don't think WWE is going to take him. So he's either going to probably do maybe New Japan or maybe he'll do Ring of Honor or go back there. And like you said, probably go back to the Indies. Who knows?
Or maybe he could go to the UFC and maybe have a UFC on Punk again, but I don't know like if he would ever go to UFC.
Well, no, I don't think he'll do the UFC thing. So I think he's just going to stick to wrestling and just going to go on from there. But I don't know. Just right now, I just think there's a little chance that he'll like join WWE at the moment.
I'd like to maybe see a Kevin Steen and Samoa Joe soon, probably soon, or something like that. If he did join WWE, because like that'd be like such a good match, between those two.
Oh yeah, that would be like a excellent match to, for them to have. I think that would like raise the stakes more when it comes to like big wrestlers, their size. That
Yeah.
will like raise the stakes very high, especially if they started up on NXT or whatnot, then move up to the roster. But who knows how long Kevin Owens is going to be down there, or if they're actually going to be interested in this signing Samoa Joe.
I like this view with Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen because like they had like a good feud in Ring of Honor, and I'm glad that they continue.
Like I haven't catch up with any of the Sami
Yeah,
Zayn and Kevin Owens stuff, but from what I've seen last week from NXT between them two, they can really tell a story when it comes to their matches.
yeah, I did watch NXT Takeover. I thought it was a good pay per view. I did, like the Sami Zayn Kevin Steen match as well.
Yeah, it was that one, and plus the final for the number one contendership. Those probably were the two big matches you would expect to raise the bar, and it did.
Yeah. So Samoa Joe left TNA. I mean, I don't know like what. I mean, TNA I think booked him very stupidly over the last couple of years. Like having a feud with Booker T was kind of stupid in my opinion, and people like other stuff he did was kind of like stupid.
I guess what they're trying to do a new route and trying to change their thing as a whole and try to go a different direction. And as we see in their different directions so far, which is right now, I can't say if it's like working because I don't know all of their ratings or how much people are watching it, but it's not as big as it was when it was with Spike TV. But for the channel that they're in right now, I know it's huge for that network.
I mean, I don't think TNA. I don't know if TNA will. Do you think TNA will go out of business this year? Because with the stars they're losing, like Samoa Joe, and they've lost AJ Styles and Sting. Now, do you think that they're going to go out of business now?
My opinion, no. I think it's too soon to tell that they're going to be going back, out of business or anything like that. Right now, it's like what they're doing with these new camera angles, and of course, what they're doing a little bit of the storylines and with the action, trying to at least separate themselves from just TNA being TNA, and which is a good start for them to start doing. But they do need them numbers to get up, and they need to try to see if they can get more viewers. Just one of those things that just hopefully it will come out the best, and just hopefully they'll find something sooner or later. But as for this year, I don't think they're going to be out of business anytime soon.
I just hope that TNA just come up with like some original stuff, like instead of copying WWE all the time, because that kind of like it's kind of boring as well.
They copy WWE to a certain extent. It's just like everybody takes things from everybody. It's like back and forth. So it's like TNA come up with one thing, then WWE comes up with it, or vice versa. So it's like when it comes to wrestling, everybody's going to take whatever from everybody as they seem, or they probably already came up with it but decided to go with it, but the other company probably beat them to it first. So it's not exactly like copying. It's just like they coming up with the same ideas, but one's going to use it first and the other one's going to use it later.
Well, I just think that pro wrestling kind of sucks into like in the last couple of years. Like we haven't really had like any competition like between the two. Like we did in 2010, but that kind of like sucked and stuff. But like we haven't had pro competition since like the Attitude Era, and I think that's what the wrestling business misses.
I think it's not like the competition because they do. It's just like there's people that can like. Of course, now it's more easier for people to watch New Japan every Friday if they want to, or watch Ring of Honor, and I know they're trying to get more exposure like around. It's like friends of mine finally seeing Ring of Honor in Green Bay, so it's
I mean,
like
there's
the
a lot of people that I know who used to watch wrestling in like the 90s when WCW and like WWE, but now like when they watch TNA, like they don't watch it now and stuff like that.
I guess I can understand because some people like, I guess they don't find the values that they're trying to look for. I can understand some people missing the TV-14 aspect of it, but you do have these other programs that has it. But I think what the problem is, some people just expect more out of everything else than what they actually. How can I say this? It's like they can expect more, but they only can do what they give if they're gonna invest their time into the promotion.
Well, I just think like if you don't like the product, you shouldn't start. You should like start watching it. In my opinion, watch something better,
Right.
like maybe Walking Dead or something like that.
Exactly. Like that's what some people gotta realize. They're not just gonna, oh, I'm just gonna stop watching this because they didn't do what I thought they would. Then the next day you be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it anyway. So it's like if they're not gonna watch it, then stick to it and don't watch it because
Yeah.
there are more promotions that are out there. Even you like what's on TV, like go to like someday indie wrestling or something. So just
I
go
mean,
check out other things.
I think like TNA is like I think like Ring of Honor and maybe and like even New Japan's better than TNA because you know they just have better wrestling than TNA.
I think the problem with New Japan, they're not showing like they're pretty good, and I'm not knocking them off or anything like that. But what they're doing right now with the TV time that they got is showing classic stuff from earlier this decade, which is a good thing if people want to follow them. But I think if they want the people like to get to know New Japan Pro Wrestling, have it like another day in time for like showing like classic matches and start having stuff up to date like right now. Just have that on a Friday or something. Have
Do you
like
think do you think that will have
other
a New Japan TV show like over here like in the US and stuff, or do you think they'll just have it like on the
yeah,
internet?
it's AXS TV every Friday, and I think it's 8 o'clock
Okay.
Central Time. Because I know over here it's like channel 300 and something.
Well, I haven't watching like new like Japan in a while, but I'm gonna start watching it again because I know like AJ Styles is over there and stuff, and like the Bullet
Right.
Club.
Yeah, it just right now they just showing like past promotion. So I know, because you know Finn Balor, he's in NXT. They recently showed a match with him, like involving him in it. So
Yeah,
just right now, New Japan is just going back to what they did in the past, just showing like highlights from
I like to see
2012, 2013.
I like to see WWE like sign more wrestlers from Japan and like from like Ring of Honor, like your Adam Cole's and stuff like that.
That's a possibility with Adam Cole. It's a possibility, but who knows? They didn't make the move, or they just waiting on the right moment. Because there's no doubt that WWE is going to go for younger stars, either if they're going to build them up from their own territory, or they're going to get them from the Indies and just go from there with them.
So, what's your thoughts on the whole Sting and Triple H feud? Are you excited for this at WrestleMania?
I'm actually am. It was just like bears the question for like why Triple H, all people they want Sting and they got him in this contract finally, and it's like why Triple H and why not? Especially the way they played it out as for months and months now, made it now that it's like a good idea. I know some people don't think that, but by the way they telling the story out of it, it's actually a good idea to have Sting versus Triple H.
I mean, do you think that Sting versus Undertaker would be a good match in 2015? I mean, maybe back in the 90s it would have been good, but not in 2015. But
If the,
I don't know. What do you think of that?
if the streak was on the line, I would say yes, but right now you can put like Undertaker versus Sting probably in like a Survivor Series, not WrestleMania, just either Survivor Series, SummerSlam, or the Royal Rumble or something like that. I don't think it's going to be any good when it comes to WrestleMania for them two.
I mean, I won't mind it if it was like kind of like a buried alive match or something like that. But if it's just like a normal one-on-one match, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, they're going to do a one-on-one match. They better off doing it either like a regular, one of their monthly pay-per-views or one of the other three pay-per-views. But for them trying to do that at WrestleMania, if they decide to, right now it's kind of too late. So that's something they probably could have calculated on last year or the year before, but couldn't do it. So it's just for that, it's kind of a little too late for them to do it at WrestleMania. Just do it at a different pay-per-view.
I mean, they could do maybe a retirement match at WrestleMania, but I mean that would be very interesting, a retirement match. That I mean, story behind that. I mean, because Undertaker and Sting have had legendary careers and stuff.
Right, because who knows? He'd probably be done this year, but right now, only the man knows himself. That's Undertaker. Only he knows when it's time to hang it up.
It kind of looks like we're gonna have a Bray Wyatt and Undertaker feud at WrestleMania.
It's actually interesting. It's interesting and it's not interesting. It's interesting because you see them two go at it, Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, is different, and it's kind of like up to that level of what you expect from them. But it's like, I guess it's like lose all the feeling because the streak is not on the line. But I guess if they want to get in that level and how Bray Wyatt is doing these promos is like, does Undertaker still got it, and is he still the dead man, so to speak?
I
But
mean, I think this is kind of like WWE's way of maybe making Bray Wyatt relevant again from like him recovering from John Cena is like another big match this year for for him facing the Undertaker and having a good match there with him.
oh, believe me, I think it's going to be a good match. But I know there's going to be some people that's going to lose like feeling towards it because of the streak ending.
I mean, if the streak was still alive this year, I think Bray Wyatt should have ended it. Like, I think it has to go to a young guy because if it went, I mean, I thought it was kind of
Oh yeah.
stupid. Like, I did Brock Lesnar in the streak. It should have happened to like a Roman Reigns or maybe a Dean Ambrose or somebody like that. Not Brock Lesnar.
Right, I do agree with you that Brock Lesnar should not be the one that ended the streak, but I understand why they did it. It's just my opinion. I don't think they shouldn't. They should have gave it to somebody else, at least somebody else that that's going to be there in the long run. And I know like when Vince was on Austin's podcast, like okay, nobody isn't ready to take that grasp at the Undertaker's winning streak away. Of course, nobody's going to be ready, but you got to test the waters and see how it's going to run. And I think with like Brock being the one that ended the streak, I know they would have made it a believable and make it a big year for Brock, but I think they could have did something else and like because if record shows me right that Undertaker never beat Brock, and that could have been an opportunity for Undertaker to beat Brock, then maybe carry that feud over a little bit longer, maybe go to the next pay-per-view, it's Extreme Rules or something, and have Brock beat him then.
Yeah, well, they could have like had Undertaker beat Brock this year, then maybe continue it, like kind of do like a Triple H Taker thing where maybe Brock couldn't be in this year and then he maybe does it, something like that.
Yeah, like have Brock beat Undertaker at SummerSlam or something. Then maybe a month later, then give Brock the title match at the Night Champions, and he would have won it then.
So, what's your thoughts on this Rusev and Cena feud?
Rusev Cena. Well, it's not much to think about it, but I guess if they want to, I guess it all depends what level they want to play this. If they doing this just to give Rusev something to do, I can understand that, or vice versa. Or if it's something to do with the United States Championship, because just some people just think right now it's still not relevant, although I still don't believe why people still think that it's not relevant. In my opinion, it still is. But I guess like if Cena end up getting the title from him, that's if it happens, people would think the title would be more relevant. But for the feud itself, it would be something to see, because in the past they're trying to make like Cena like American-made wrestler or whatever, but they didn't do it that much with this feud. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to try to do with this.
Now, I don't know if they're going to bury Rusev this year at WrestleMania like they did with Bray Wyatt, or they're going to maybe elevate him, but I kind of see like this is going to be another John Cena burial for a young guy. Like, he's going to like bury Rusev, and then they're going to...
Yeah, I wouldn't say burial and something like that, because like when it comes to certain people, when we do certain matches, it's kind of like elevating the one person. Like it takes two to tango, so they both have to work their butts off and try to please the fans and get the crowd going on what they do in the ring. But I wouldn't say burial. I say like maybe step them up to the next level.
Yo, I mean, like in the second half of 2014, I liked how they, booked Rusev and stuff, like how he was very strong going
Oh
into
yeah.
like leading up to, because this is kind of like leading up to John Cena because he's like been so strong. Second half of 2014, he's now going into a big feud with John Cena. So I like how they built him up so well with that point, but I don't want him to get buried if you know what I mean.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Um, Even if Cena does beat him, but if Cena does beat him at Fastlane, then ends up Cena losing to him at WrestleMania. This can go either way. That's the interesting thing because it could go either way. It could be like Rusev could beat John Cena at both Fastlane and WrestleMania, then move on from there, or one's going to win one, one's going to win the other, and maybe they'll do an Extreme Rules match where maybe Rusev will be coming up the victor out of that.
Well, they could do something like maybe Rusev beat Cena clean at WrestleMania, and then the next night at WrestleMania, the next night at Raw, you have um, the whole uh, the whole you know crowd boo Rusev because of he beat Cena clean, and Cena was sticking up for America and stuff like that. And then Cena gets pissed off and stuff, and he thinks that he can't beat Rusev and stuff, and then Rusev beats him again and possibly turns heel. I don't know, something kind of like that.
Yeah, it could possibly end in a disqualification. That's a possibility, and I've thought about that for like days now. That it could end in like Rusev went by disqualification, then Cena ends up winning at WrestleMania. Then if they decide to continue the feud on the Extreme Rules, have Rusev win it. It's kind of like the same thing. You see what they did with Triple H and Brock Lesnar. Like had Brock win it at SummerSlam, Triple H win it at WrestleMania in a gimmick match. Then another gimmick match had Brock win it. So they could do that scenario if they decide to.
So what did you think of this last episode of Raw then? Did you think it was a good episode?
Oh, yesterday's Raw. It's one of those Raws you wouldn't expect. You thought it would be like, with their Raws before the pay-per-view, they had to raise the stakes, but I'm not going to say that they didn't raise the stake and that they did. I would say that they kind of meet within the middle. Like it was good and a little bit bad, but mostly just like mostly good but a little bit bad. Just put it that way.
I thought it was an alright show, but I didn't like that
Yeah.
that Roman Reigns and Kane match on Raw was so boring, and Daniel Bryan versus The Big Show was boring as well. I didn't like that as a main event.
Well, I guess if you can, I just didn't like the finish of the Roman Reigns and Kane. It's like I don't think the finish should have been like that. I think one of them should have just came out the victor, and especially if they're going to keep on continue this on until wherever they decide to do or whatever direction they decide to go. But as for the Big Show and Daniel Bryan, well, it's like you got two people with two different like types of. You got one that's got like a strength that can probably just slam you and throw you around and stuff, versus a guy that can be technical with you and can't overpower you, but he can use his speed. So it just all depends on how they both work together. And I guess from their past history, it worked last time, but I guess this week it just wasn't good enough.
Another match I'm tired of seeing on Raw is Dust Brothers versus The New Day. We've seen it for the last few weeks now. Like, I don't know what they're doing with these guys. Like, I know they're gonna have a Cody Rhodes and Goldust feud at WrestleMania. but I don't know what they're doing with a New Day.
I guess like it's like one of those things like you got the talent in the world with all three of those guys from the New Day, but you don't know what you want to do with them. First, you was gonna go this way, but for some other reason, they didn't want to do that, so they decided to go the other way. And I'm just gonna say, half of the people, I would say like mainly the guys, probably don't like this gimmick. Don't like them being too happy all the time. But there's gonna be kids that's gonna like that. Now I wouldn't say all women were like that. I would say some. But I guess they want to have like a faction that will please like the kids as well.
I don't know what's going on with the I'm tired of seeing them divas. Like, can somebody get rid of those divas till the WWE team finds something interesting with those divas?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, yeah, that the Paige and like Nikki Bella feud. I'm not interested in that.
I actually think that's actually from the way it planned out, especially what they did this past Monday. I thought it was like very interesting in my opinion. With with the mean girls bullying and stuff like that angle, which is pretty good, and plus, telling the story is good. But I think, and I just talked about this earlier with some people too today, that I think the problem with the divas is like, I think there's some of them that's very good that they need more TV time, and I think like they only have like one Divas match, and like back then, like earlier this year, they used to have like two Divas matches, and just like I don't know what happened with that sort of span of time, and I think they stopped there ever since like a little bit before the Royal Rumble started. So I just think they're doing okay, but the Divas just need more TV time.
I think if I was booking the Divas division, I think you need to have you need to call up people like Charlotte from NXT and Sasha Banks and get those women wrestling, because they had like I like that Charlotte and Natalya match on NXT a couple of months ago. That was a real good match.
Oh yeah, that was a very good match, and plus I guess nobody didn't like the match when they had her came up and wrestled Natalya, and I guess people thought that sucked. But eventually, both Charlotte and Sasha Banks are going to get called up. It's just going to be a matter of when. It could be after WrestleMania, or they're just going to see what happens. But either way, both of them are going to get called up, I think, sometime this year.
I don't know. I don't know what time to like AJ Lee. I haven't seen her in a while. She left or something. I haven't seen her on TV for a while.
Yeah, she's I guess from what it says, she's battling with a injury, and I guess I'm thinking she's healed from it, but they also just going to give her some time off as well. So she'll be back. It's just a matter of when.
So what do you think of the Ascension?
They were dominant in NXT. They was like very dominant, and I'm not saying they're bad when they brought them up to the roster, but it's like Triple H had one idea with them, but when they come to the main roster, Vince had like a different idea with them, and kind of like, because you got people that's like, okay, they copying off the Royal Warriors or this and that, and I guess it's like Vince put a little bit spin to them, because in NXT they didn't have the face paint, but now they got a little bit of the face paint. But I'm just not gonna be like the other crowd that's just gonna hate them because of what Vince is doing. I'm interested in what they can do in the ring. So with the Ascension, I think they're gonna be one of those tag teams that's gonna give whoever holds the tag titles at the time some competition.
I think the WWE should kept that like the Ascension like monster bay faces when they came in, because it was like heels, weren't they? Like that One episode I didn't like when the Essential was getting buried by all those legends like the NWO and stuff, like getting beat down.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. That I guess they wanted to really elevate the Ascension, so that's where that segment was mainly about, where all them legends like attacking them. It was mainly like trying to elevate the Ascension.
So do you think WrestleMania is going to be better this year than last year, or do you think it's going to be worse, or I don't know, because with the whole Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, do you think that's going to be a triple threat? Because I kind of think they might do that, but they could go with the one-on-one still with him and Reigns, like maybe like in a street fight or something.
You know what? With WWE, anything can happen. But my opinion on WWE WrestleMania this year, or how it's going to be, me, I'll just say, I normally just watch back and see what other matches they're going to do before like I pass judgment, like, because it could look horrible on paper, but actually seeing them wrestle could be like, man, that was a good match. So right now, I can't say.
Are you excited? So are you excited for Fastlane on Sunday? Because I don't know. I think that they haven't built up this pay-per-view that well. They built up some matches about the Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, but I don't think they like
Right.
built up.
Um, just mainly with the main event, you don't know. It could go one way or it could go another. So, and especially with the Philadelphia crowd at the Royal Rumble, let WWE know how they felt. Which, who knows? Maybe they might turn it around, but there are people that's gonna be sick and tired, like some of the fans getting complaining because they want it their way, and then because the thing is, last year, I guess Vince with the Royal Rumble, I think nobody didn't know that who was gonna actually like win it. But then again, Batista came back and is like, if he wins it, then it's like why he only been back for like a week. So I can understand why some people was upset about it last year. But this year, this is what like Vince's want. They're looking at their future more than what the fans want. They're looking at how they're going to do with their business than what the fans want right now.
I mean, like you just said, I mean, the WWE are trying to push their young guys. I mean, they finally are listening to us. In 2015, they are finally listening to us and pushing young stars like Roman Reigns and other guys. But some wrestlers, I mean, other wrestling fans, other wrestling fans, want to see guys like Daniel Bryan getting pushed all the time. I know Stone Cold Steve Austin won 3 Royal Rumbles, but he wasn't in the main event all the time. And you've got to adapt to have other wrestlers like Roman Reigns and other guys have a big spot at WrestleMania. I mean, how is the business going to grow if you keep having Daniel Bryan and John Cena and Randy Orton and all that stuff? You're going to have other guys and try with other guys. And if they don't draw, well, maybe go back to other guys and see if they draw.
I think that's what they've done in the past, and I don't think people actually, pick that up. It's like, when it came to like John Cena, it's like it really wasn't like Vince's choice. It was at first was the fan choice for John Cena, but out of nowhere they just ended up making a lot of money out of the guy, and they did. Like Vince's choice was Randy Orton, and it's the same thing with like Austin and The Rock. Like The Rock was Vince's choice, Austin was the fans' choice. It's like the same thing with right now. It's like Daniel Bryan is the fans' choice, and Vince's choice is Roman Reigns.
I think Roman Reigns' mic skills does really need improving. I like his promo skills definitely need improving, and his in-ring work is improving as well. And I think this guy, it could be a big star for the WWE if he just works on his mic skills a bit more and his charisma, and maybe works on his wrestling skills a bit more.
Oh yeah, I agree with you that he does need some mic work. I agree with that, and also I think he needs more of a move set I think with the moveset he has right now is like limited, but I know that he can do more. So it's just all about timing if they're gonna like give him the green light and just let him do more. Because sometimes with Vince McMahon, he'll be like, "Oh, you can't do this moveset. You can't do this. You got to do this. You got to do that." So sometimes Vince does have to say something when it comes to like doing moves. It's like he already banned like the certain ways you do the 450 splash and the pile driver. So it's like some of that stuff with the certain moves that some certain wrestlers want to do is based on Vince's decision as well.
I mean, Roman Reigns has had some good matches on FCW I've seen on YouTube, but I would like to see that transformed onto the main roster. Like, let him have some good matches on the main roster instead of having some shit matches with people like Kane and the Big Show. Like, that feud with Big Show and Roman Reigns was awful.
Oh, believe me, if he would have faced the Big Show, if he would have ended up power slamming the Big Show, I think that would have made the crowd go nuts. But I think only time will tell when you're gonna see Roman Reigns have a great match, and I think to make it and break it, or make it or break it for him, will be him versus Brock Lesnar, or if they end up having a one-on-one, or if it end up being a triple threat match, wherever the route WWE is gonna go. Roman Reigns is gonna have to prove himself at WrestleMania, no matter if it's a one-on-one or a triple threat match. That will be his time to prove himself and see if they made the right decision on him.
I mean, Roman Reigns probably could have I think Roman Reigns could have a good match if the WWE just let him express it a little bit more. Like, you know, let him have a bit of charisma. Like, instead of him being all serious all the time, and you know, let him be, you know, out there and stuff. Like, let him cut his own promos, and you know, let him have a manager. That would help first. He needs a manager first.
But yeah, they do want him to be like a badass. That's probably why they didn't probably put him with a manager, or they decided they're gonna go this way with him because I guess he got the look. He does got, you know, some of the fan base. He actually just got what WWE is looking for, and I guess like based on whatever he did in the past with FCW or NXT, and I guess that's what they basing it off of, and they also basing it off of, you know, the crowd reaction. If they love him, they love him. They hate him, they hate him. Either way, he's get a reaction. So I think the best of Roman Reigns is yet to come.
I didn't like the ending at the Royal Rumble though, when you had like Kane and the Big Show and the whole Rock thing. I think if you wanted to make Roman Reigns strong, you could have like took them both out at the same time or something like that.
Well, in a way, he kind of did throw them both out at the same time. Although they was like trying to choke each other out, and he lift them up and throw them out at the same time. But in my opinion, in the way they would have made Roman Reigns stronger, they should have put him between 1 and 10, not like a later entry. They should have put him as a like early entry to make him look strong.
Yeah. I mean, they could have, like, if they wanted to do him, like, make him strong, maybe they could have maybe had him prove himself, like, maybe have a match early in the night and then get into the Royal Rumble match then win it, something like that, you know, to maybe make him, you know, a main event or something like that, you know.
Well, that's a possibility. They could have had a match with him earlier on than have him come out later on and wrestle. That is a good possibility that they could have done.
I mean, they did that with Daniel Bryan last year, so, I mean, you know, kind of similar, but, you know.
Yeah, the thing with him is, like, he had a match, but he wasn't in the Royal Rumble match. I think that was, like, the difference with that.
So, do you want to do you think the Money in the Bank will return this year? I hope it does.
For WrestleMania?
Yeah, WrestleMania.
Well, you know, with them changing pay-per-views and stuff, it could happen, but as of right now, I don't see them doing that. I don't see it happening.
I mean, it would be better. Like, I don't know why they have that pay-per-view. Like, why would you have its own pay-per-view? Like, you have so many gimmick pay-per-views. Like, you have Extreme Rules. You have like you've had Over the Limit stuff like that. Like, why do you want Money in the Bank when you can have it at WrestleMania, where you can have all your mid-carders featured and you know push a guy there as well? Like, I don't get why you want it as a solo pay-per-view. But
I think since that match was like so popular when they brought it in at WrestleMania 21, they just thought it would be okay as it doing it as a solo pay-per-view, and they were right. It was pretty successful, but especially I just don't know how they're going to do it this year. But how they did it last year was played off pretty well with having a ladder match for the WWE Championship, then having the Money in the Bank ladder match for the briefcase. So I think they did that pretty well last year. But with this year, I don't know how they're going to do it. But either they will change their mind and decide, oh, they're going to do it at WrestleMania, or they're just going to leave it as it is, just on this on pay-per-view, which I think that they're going to do.
another thing that I have for WrestleMania this year, they could do like maybe an NXT Battle Royal where maybe you get a match on the main roster with maybe like a Seth Rollins or somebody from the main roster or something, like a kind of trial or something.
Oh, like have them have someone from NXT fight someone from the main roster.
Yeah.
You know, that's a possibility, but there's already rumors out that they're gonna feature NXT at WrestleMania with a match, probably for the NXT title. If they do that, I think that would like increase a lot of people that really want to see that, and it depends how they're gonna do it as well.
I mean, they could have like like a NXT like like an NXT title match on the pre-show, or they could maybe save that for like one of them for like one of a title match on the WrestleMania card itself. If you're not gonna have like an IC or US title match, have an NXT title match at WrestleMania to get people invested into NXT.
I think that's the plan that they're gonna do, but we're just gonna have to wait if they're gonna give it the green light or not. But right now, it definitely seems like that's what they're gonna plan to do.
Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it at this now. But hope you guys like this video. What do you guys think about Samoa Joe leaving TNA? And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
All right.